Good afternoon. I'm Ana Serna, the teacher who will be guiding you through this panel discussion. Today we want to reflect on assessment, especially on the Saper 11th test. How did we experience it as students? Is it truly fair? And what could we improve in our work as future teachers? To address these questions, we have the participation of Gabriela Murgas and Yara Urbina, graduates in the process of teacher training. And we have also Dr. Maria Jose Contreras, a designer from IFES. Thank you for being here. Dr. Maria Jose, can you answer this question? What is the main purpose of this test?
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you very much, Professor Anna, for this invitation in response to your question. The Saper 11 test aimed to verify the development of basic competences, provide elements for a student's self-assessment, and serve as a requirement for entering higher education. Because of this, the test is divided into 5 areas: critical reading, mathematics, science, social studies, and citizenships, and English. In the case of English, the objective is to evaluate the competency to communicate effectively in this language at the level of reading and language use, following the level of the Common European Framework of Reference for Language, CEFR. Consequently, it seeks to classify test takers into the performance levels pre-A1, A1, A2, and B1.
Thank you for the explanation, Dr. Maria Jose. Now I want Gabriela and Yara to tell us about their experience with the English model. What did you think of it? How did it go for you?
Well, in my case, I felt a lot of anxiety. I was always taught grammar, like the verb to be, simple past, but on the test, long text in English appeared. I thought, when did we work on this? It seemed unfair to me because I did study, but they didn't prepare me to interpret real texts. The test didn't reflect the effort I put into classes.
It was different for me. I watch series in English and read some lyrics with translations, so some things were easier for me. But I still feel that teaching at the school was disconnected from how IFES asks questions. What I analyzed was the test measures whether I understand the language in use, not just whether I translate word for word. So for me, the test is fair in what it seeks to measure, but it's unfair because not everyone receives appropriate instruction.
I identify with both of you. IFES doesn't design questions to memorize rules, but to demonstrate real communication competencies. The great challenge lies in equity, ensuring that all schools can accurately prepare their students. Now, the English module, as mentioned early, evaluates communicative skills in reading and language used through multiple choice questions with a single answer. Right, Dr. Maria Jose?
That's correct, Professor Anna. These are grouped in the 3 main blocks. The first block is vocabulary, which consists of relating descriptions to words and understanding notice. The second block is grammar, which consists of completing text with the correct word and identifies errors. And the last block is reading comprehension, where students perform literal or inferential readings of basic text.
Yes, that's true, Dr. Maria Jose. I remember reading questions about emails or advertisements to infer intention, which I found extremely difficult because I had very rarely come into contact with texts like that in school. I also remember dialogues where you had to identify the best response.
Yes, me too. I remember one in particular that I really liked it because it was a test about the Olympic Games, and where we had to select the appropriate word for some blank spaces it had. Even so, it feels that listening and speaking practice was lacking in school, which are part of the language.
Very interesting what you're sharing. Now I want to ask you what aspects of school assessment did or didn't actually prepare you for the Saper 11th test in English?
Well, I believe that what they did capture was the basic teaching of vocabulary and grammar that helped solve certain questions. However, what they didn't capture was the comprehension of real texts. At school, we almost never work with emails, brochures, or advertisements, like on the test, so you arrived a bit lost. Also, they almost never assessed our ability to infer, to understand what the text doesn't say directly. And that's what the ICFES asks for most.
Well, I agree. I think school assessment focuses on mechanical exercise like completing sentences, translating, or repeating rules, but English is communication. On the exam, you encounter functional situations. I didn't see much of that in class. Another important thing is that we didn't have a useful feedback. Just are great, so I didn't really know how to improve my English level.
That's a key point. Assessment should generate learning, not just grade. The Saper test seeks to measure language use, but for it to be a fair assessment, all the students must have had real opportunities to develop those competences.
As future teachers, what strategies do you propose so the students learn English meaningfully and that it's also reflected in their test results?
Use meaningful and constant reading. Use real texts, messages, memes, song lyrics, app reviews. Connect English with the student's life.
Well, I also feel that oral activities like role-playing, interviews, mini-debates, and conversation clubs contribute greatly to students losing their fear of expressing themselves.
Those seem like very good strategies, Gabriel and Yara. And adding to your contributions, I consider it important to incorporate digital resources, applications to practice vocabulary, platforms with interactive videos, or even educational video games. Technology allows learning to be more dynamic, personalized, and accessible, especially for those who may not have contact with the language outside the classroom.
I agree with all of you. If we combine reading, oral skills, and technology, we'll be helping English to be learning in a meaningful, consistent, and motivating way. And that, without a doubt, will be reflected in better results on the Saper test.
Thank you all for your contributions. I hope you enjoyed this session. Bye bye.